communication is the whole spectrum of communication across all channels and all transmission possibilities and modalities, such as verbal, paraverbal, non-verbal, visual, auditory, everything. Even the color of your shoes is holistic communication.
Okay, but a starting point. What's the key? What's the first step to getting into holistic communication?
The first step is to recognize that everything you do and the way you do it is a form of communication. For example, the way you greet a customer that comes in, or even the way you dialogue internally, your inner voices, the way you speak to yourself. That's holistic communication too. It's quite important.
Is there anything that isn't holistic communication? Or maybe to rephrase the question, could you talk about negative communication, sort of the opposite of this? Because there must be a time when you're silent internally, or you're silent with respect to other people, yet you're communicating by not communicating.
Yeah, I would say that the contrary of holistic communication is when you are not aware. When you're not aware that you are communicating, you're not aware that there's the receiver, you're not aware that you are producing effect, and that you are in some way always affecting other people's lives. People that are around you are always affected by your smiles or your eye gaze, and holistic communication is the total awareness of this phenomenon and variables, and the contrary is to be unaware, I would say.
Surely you can't always possibly be hyper aware of what you're doing.
Yeah.
You kind of get in the way of the everyday.
Yeah, what we try to teach here in this master is that you have to be spontaneous, you have to be natural as much as possible, but we talk, there's a concept that we deal with, which is unknown competencies. The point in which you don't have to think anymore to what you're doing, because it comes like spontaneously. It's like in public speaking, you're not thinking anymore to, how am I doing, what I have to say. You just let the flow of communication come out. That's very interesting.
And you feel the crowd.
You feel some internal force, some internal energy coming out of you rather than just words.
Can we talk about that a little bit? Where does that come from, that internal force?
It's from humanistic psychology, but that's for the next
subject for the next video. Well, thank you, Dan. That's been a wonderful pleasure.